Picture this. You're me, but at like 12, so you're still a loser. It's the winter of 2015, and your new obsession is this obscure little indie game you just beat called Undertale. That shit changes your life. You're like one of those kids who saw Sans and went, wow, he's just like me, and then based your personality off that for years. You want more, so you hop down the rapidly growing hole of Undertale fan content. There's Underfell, Underswap, Disbelief, Megalo Strike Back, hell, even the bad ones. Undertale and Steven Universe, Undertale and Lisa, Undertale and Earthbound. Man, looking back, the whole Sans' Nest thing is some goofball shit, but when you were 12, that shit blew your mind. Remixes on animations, on AUs, you parse through it all, trying to find something that hits the same as the original game, but nothing works. Until, finally, you find something your child-ass little pea-brain thinks might fill the void. It's this Undertale AU that mixes Persona elements and adds in some kooky new lore stuff for flavor. It stars Frisk hanging out with Asriel, but it's not Asriel. And this cool new OC the creator added, who's mean all the time, but everyone loves them and they get a harem anyway. And this AU has so much hype around it that your 12-year-old little brain goes, wow, if everyone likes it, it must be good. And then you go through it, and it's like mid. It's well made, but it feels just like another Undertale fan thing. And so, with your expectations hyped up and then dropped for no reason, you piss and shit your pants, or whatever I did when I was 12. The name of this fan thing was Deltarune. Wait, what? Yeah, that whole long-ass bit was essentially just a big segue into my main point. Deltarune Chapter 2 feels like Toby Fox going back on his Undertale bullshit, and I don't like that. How's it going, you flows and hoes? I'm Degis. So Deltarune's been pretty popular recently, huh? Seriously, I don't think I've ever seen a game this universally adored within the first few weeks of its release. Like, you know it's wild when both Twitter and 4chan agree that your game is cash. And in order to make sure this video doesn't get me lynched, I'd like to preface this scream into the void by saying that I don't dislike Deltarune. The title says it's a 6 out of 10, not that it killed my dad. And I don't want to be one of those YouTube video essayists who over-embellishes their opinions for views, like,
blah! I think this popular game sucks because it's bad. Now come here, my Discord kitten.
Nah, that ain't me. Deltarune Chapter 2 was, like, fine. It was well made, it just disappointed me for a few different reasons. Part of why I loved Deltarune Chapter 1 so much was that it was decidedly not Undertale. The characters felt different, the whole world felt new, and most of all, your choices didn't matter anymore. It was still Toby Fox, but it was something different, and that was cool as hell. Deltarune Chapter 2 took all that growth, and instead of building on it to make something new, went, dude, bro, what if we made Undertale, but again? Whoa! And so that's what it ended up being. All of a sudden, the characters started getting quirkier, and your choices started to matter again. Best seen in what I'm going to affectionately be calling the gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss route of the game. Yeah, let's get into this. In Deltarune Chapter 1, my favorite character by a long shot was Susie. Because she was something that Undertale hadn't already done, which was an overtly malicious supporting character. Sure, Flowey's a piece of shit, but in a different way, and even he gets his big redemption moment at the end of the pacifist route. Susie's just an asshole. She gets a bit of a moment, but she still keeps her air of dangerousness, and that makes her unique, and unique is cool. So then imagine how disappointed I was when she showed up in Deltarune Chapter 2 as yet another quirky-ass Toby Fox character. Just one that swears this time. Like, she's still an alright character, but I feel like she's missing that it factor she had in Chapter 1. Same goes for, like, the rest of the cast, actually. Is it just me, or is every returning character in Deltarune, like, way more unlikable this go-around? Chris is a blank slate. Shut up, lore nerds. Chris is a blank slate. Susie's just another dork now. I never really cared for Ralsei. Sure, Birdley's got some funny lines, but I hate his fucking guts. And Noelle... we'll get back to her. Hell, Even Rules Cards bit ran stale this go around, even if its theme slaps. Queen and Spamton are the best characters in the game. They were gold every time they showed up. But they're also exclusive to Chapter 2. It's not a good sign when I don't really care about any of the main cast, especially when there's going to be 7 parts worth of them. Man, side note, Toby, I know you can probably handle the whole 7 parts thing, but holy shit, your Homestuck is showing. Honestly, my issue isn't with the contents of the Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss route. I'm more upset with the fact that it exists at all. The whole theme of Deltarune Chapter 1 was that your choices don't matter. It's what gave the game the bite it did, and it made it stick out as something other than Undertale 2. But then I boot up Deltarune Chapter 2, and the king's over here talking mad shit like, how dare you leave them behind? And Noelle's introducing people to weird-ass hentai tags, and Birdly fucking dies! Fuck, man. To be honest, it felt like a bit of a slap in the face. That whole thing where, like, the game's built like a creepypasta and shames you for playing it was cool for Undertale because it was a new concept at the time, and the game was marketed off of that. But Deltarune Chapter 2 is coming out 6 years later as a part of a game explicitly created to have your choices not matter. I thought I was free to just play the video game, man. Stop making me mind break the deer! Speaking of the deer, though, she's a part of the reason I dislike the route so much. To put it bluntly, the game never really gave me a reason to like her, so I just never felt bad for her. Oh, sorry for the hot take, guys, but I couldn't really relate to any of her 3 total personality traits, those of course being kidnapped, gay, and so I was just never really affected during any of the gaslighting, gatekeeping, or girl bossing. By the end of the route, I wasn't left with any sort of pity for Noelle or really any emotions towards the content at all. It was just, wow, you went back on what made your game special for this? Whack. There's actually a lot of positives to Deltarune Chapter 2, and I feel like it would be unfair if I didn't talk about the parts of the game I liked after pissing on it for so long, so here we go. Queen's the best. Like, legitimately my favorite thing Toby Fox has ever created. I don't know how he managed to sneak Adina Monsoon energy into his video game for Zoomers, but I'm very happy he did. I love me some Wine Mom energy, and every scene she's in is gold.
Darling, think what I could do for you, sweetie. I could get some t-shirts made, couldn't I, for the presentation, darling, with DLA project on them, sweetie, couldn't I, darling? Video screens. Catering, what do you want, sweetie?
Nothing.
Oh, all right, I'll buy the Porridge a bloody swimming pool.
Mum, you're not coming, and that is an end to it.
I am.
You're not.
Speaking of, this game is way funnier than it has any right to be. Like, it does its comedy in the style that indie games love to use, where every joke is just, "Teehee, I'm so quirky. Did you know that I'm a gamer girl?" But for whatever reason, Toby Fox just makes it work. I've already talked about how Queen rules, but Birdwee's got some good lines too, and even fucking Noelle had a scene that broke me. Spamton, also great. He's just a little goblin man that shows up in the trash like halfway through the game, and he completely steals the show. He's a lore dump for the people who are into that, and he's got like 2 top-tier boss fights for everybody else. Big fan of this little guy. Spamton's first battle theme is legitimately my favorite song Toby Fox has ever written, with Pandora's Palace, Smart Race, and Rules Cards battle theme as other standouts from the OST. All in all, I think the OST is slightly worse than like Undertale or Deltarune's first chapter, but it's a competent-ass Toby Fox soundtrack full of competent-ass Toby Fox songs. And as someone who writes music himself, I can't bring myself to put it down as mid. No complaints here, man, good job. The combat bits were dope. They were my favorite part of Deltarune 1, and this is more of the same. The punch-out bits were great too. They changed the pace and they were a blast to go through whenever they showed up. Lastly, I think the biggest compliment I can give this game is that even after all the disappointments I spent most of the video complaining about, I'm still excited for the rest of the chapters.
God damn it, you funky dog, set me free!
I don't know what sort of hope or copium this fucking game injected into me while I wasn't looking, but god damn it, I want to know what happens next. What's gonna happen with Chris and Susie? Why did Ralsei suddenly go off the goop? What really happened to Birdwee? Will the next game give me a reason to care about Noelle? Who's Mike? My cock. In the end though, I think my analogy at the beginning of the video was apt. Deltarune Chapter 2 felt more like an Undertale fan project than the next chapter of Deltarune. But it's only chapter 2 of 7. Even though this chapter left me upset, I'm still gonna check out chapters 3 through 5 when they come out, and hopefully they're more for me. I know when it's done, Deltarune is gonna be something special, but until then, to me, Deltarune Chapter 2 is like a 6 out of 10. How's it going, fuckers? Thanks for watching. If you made it this far into a video from a dude with like 30 subscribers, thanks a ton. You're a real one. If you want to make that subscriber number go up, though, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, JKJK. Unless... I can't fucking take myself seriously, man. This video's been a blast to me, and if there's a market for shit like this, I'd be happy to keep making more, but you guys gotta let me know, alright? Until then, I'm Deegis, and see you around.